Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, colleagues. I come to share with you some of the workings around being a trustee of a trust. I'll be actually having snippets about training you guys as being trustees of the trust. And yeah, be going through relevant legislation and to ensure that you guys are equipped in those family trust. It can be employee share scheme trust. It can be those BE trust that you guys are having in your companies. But it's very important that we understand the relevant legislations. And yeah, today I'm going to be taking you guys through a certain provision within the Act, the Trust Property Control Act. And I feel that it's very, very important. It's one of the important provision in a sense that it speaks to indirectly with how the trustees do work. We know so many trustees that sits in broad-based economic empowerment trust, employee share scheme trust, family trust, property trust, business trust, but they're not really demonstrating what is required by the law. Yes, so they're not demonstrating what is required by the law. So we need to sort of do away with that and start acting, especially these days that these employee share scheme trusts are being spoken about and are being things that are being considered and encouraged to ensure that the employees also own something in the businesses. Yes, you might be running a medium-sized businesses and considering to have an employee share scheme, but what does it mean? And also, what does it mean for those trustees that are going to be sitting in those trusts? What should they be behaving? How should they be behaving? I think that's very important. So what I want to share with you guys is exactly that. I just want to take you guys to what we call trustees regarding that provision. So I'm going to share a mini presentation. It's just one slide so that I can speak to you about that. I'll also be referencing to the Act so that we unpack that, you understand it, comprehend that. Then next time, we're going to go into another section of the Act. Next time, we're going to give some of the examples within the trust instrument that you guys draft. So that's very, very important. Maybe then let's look at who I am. As I mentioned, my name is Shilipo Mutiwa, for those who might not be familiar with me. These are some of the companies that I'm involved with. There's one missing here called Intergen Private Wealth also. There's Mutiwa Private Wealth, which deals with financial planning, be it corporate planning, retirement planning, and estate planning. And yes, retirement planning, estate planning, and corporate planning. So you're more than welcome to reach out. Then tax aid is purely tax. So if you've got tax problems, you want to do tax planning, you want us to do tax audit, you want us to do with tax disputes with SARS, you're more than welcome to reach out to tax aid. Of course, then we've got all these ecosystems. So for those who are starting out as a property investors, you're more than welcome to join our ecosystem, just sharing ideas and be part of the WhatsApp groups where people learn about being a property investor. We also have a SMEs Connect South Africa, which is a mastermind where SMEs meet and share ideas about and struggles and help each other with business opportunities as SMEs. Maybe let's get into it. Now, we're speaking about trustees. What means to be a trustee? What is required of you when you are performing those duties? Remember, some of the duties and the powers, you'll find them within the trust deed. There's that trust deed. It's sort of a constitution that comes with that particular trust, right? It's very, very important. When last did you read that instrument? When last did you, do you understand what it says? Do you understand the tax implication that are sitting there? Do you understand how you're going to distribute that particular trust? Do you understand what will happen when you're winding up that particular trust? It's very, very, very important to understand those dynamics. Do you understand the powers that are bestowed on you by that very same instrument? Because if you don't understand all those things, how would you say to someone that you exercise care? How would you say to someone that you actually worked with diligence? How would you say to someone that you exercised your duties in terms with the skill and demonstrated skill, the ability to execute your task? How would you demonstrate that if you don't even know what's happening in your trust deed, guys? It can be even you having a family trust, guys, sitting somewhere. When last did you read that trust deed that you are having? Do you even know what it means? Do you even know when can you distribute or do you even know when the beneficiaries can be entitled to some of the distributions within the trust? Guys, let's read that. Now, there are these things that are written here: fiduciaries, trust assets, beneficiary interest, skill, care, diligence, jointly act, fiduciary. But let me bring you back to the act. I want to read a specific section within the Trust Property Control Act so that you are working with me. There's a section 9, subsection 1 of the Trust Property Control Act. What does that say? Maybe let's go back. Let me read it to you, okay? Just hold on. It says, a trustee shall, in the performance of his duties and the exercise of his powers, act with care. Okay, we spoke about duties and your powers. Look in that trust instrument. You'll find your duties and your powers, right? Now, they're saying, for you to be able to exercise those duties and those powers, you must act with care. What does care means, right? A care should be about issues that serious attention and consideration has been applied in doing a work, right? So have you considered or have you paid a serious attention in doing, have you cared in exercising those particular duties and powers? That is very, very, very important, okay? So if you don't understand that, that's when you're gonna get it wrong. Now, it further says you need to act with the care, the diligence, and skill which can reasonably be expected of a person who manages the affairs of another. As a trustee, right, as a trustee, you will be managing the affairs of others. Whose others? Others are these beneficiaries that we're talking about. The trust assets, as we're speaking about, they are vesting and they're bestowed at you, on you, right, as trustees, right? And you are expected to act jointly in the decision because you are together bestowed these trust assets. But you will need to act with care on behalf of someone else. That someone else is those beneficiaries who are entitled, whether it's conditionally or they already have vested interest in those trust assets. You need to act in their best interest. You need to care. You need to demonstrate that you paid the serious attention and consideration in managing their assets. Because it's their assets, whether they're going to get them in future or what, they've got contingent interest in that, that's fine. But that's their interest. They've got interest in those trust assets. So you need to demonstrate that you acted with care on behalf of those beneficiaries. Who are the beneficiaries? The beneficiary, you need to read the trust deed. Read the trust deed and be able to demonstrate who are the beneficiaries of these trusts. Could be employees. Let's say in a case where you drafted a trust and you owned this business, and you said you are creating this employee share scheme trust. So most likely the beneficiaries will be their employees, right? Are you acting in their best interest as the trustee? Then let's talk about another example where you've got a family business, a family trust. You created a family trust, you're building all these property. Who did you list as a founder? Who was the trustee? Who was the beneficiary rather, right? Are you acting in the best interest of that particular person, right? So, which can reasonably be expected of a person who manages. Now, you need to just, reasonably, you need to ask yourself, for someone who's managing trust assets, what could be reasonably expected of you? That is very, very, very important, okay? Any provisions contained in a trust instrument shall be void insofar as it will have the effect of exempting a trustee from or indemnifying him against liability for a breach of trust where he fails to show the degree of care, diligence, and skill as required in subsection 1. Can you see that you cannot even contract yourself out of that? You cannot even contract yourself to say, I should not be sued if I didn't demonstrate care. I should not be sued if I didn't demonstrate diligence. I should not be sued if I didn't demonstrate an ability to execute and do something, which is a skill. So if you did not demonstrate that you actually shown an ability to do something, you could have been consulting, you could have read things, documents, and interpreted them based on the skill set you have you demonstrated those things? So you cannot contract yourself out of there. So that is very, very, so to me, that's an obligation. That's a serious obligation that you need to be mindful of. So make sure you understand these things. Make sure you understand that number one, understand what your powers are as per the trust instrument that you have, trust instrument, whether trusted, understand your powers, right? Understand your duties, understand who are the beneficiaries, understand the assets that are sitting there. Will you be able to manage them? Are you capable? Are you skilled to even manage those type things? Will you be able to act with care? What is required when it comes to jointly acting? It means that you as trustees, you need to demonstrate that you acted jointly, right? You must demonstrate, make decisions together. You don't have to agree in the decisions, but you must have demonstrated that you acted jointly. Okay, you've got a fiduciary duty to act in the best interest of this beneficiary. That is very, very, very important. Okay, so that is very, very important provision to actually remember. So please, please, please make sure that you are you demonstrate all these things. So yeah, so I thought I should share with you this because I feel that it's one of the important provisions in the Act. And you're more than welcome to comment and ask questions where you don't understand, you want clarifications, but the important thing is to demonstrate that you acted with care and skill and diligence. Very, very important. Did you act with care, skill, and diligence in exercising or acting within your powers and duties as the trustee? Then to be able to do that, you need to understand what are your, right? You need to understand what are your powers and what do you call? You need to understand what are your powers and what's this? And duties, right? That's very, very important. So I think let's leave it there. And I appreciate and thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys very soon, also sharing some of snippets about being a trustee and having trust. And of course, also tax matters. I'll be also sharing with you guys some of the tax snippets. And you're more than welcome to reach out. My details out my profile. My email address is there. My WhatsApp number is 074 589 6439. 074 589 6439. Good morning and